The exact VSL framework that I'm going to give you end to end in this training is the same VSL framework that one of my clients is using in the gym space, and he's in the B2B gym space. He's currently generating $60 cost per book calls from cold traffic on ads, and his current CPA, his current cost per acquisition to acquire a new client, is sitting at $250 to acquire a new client on a 2K per month offer. So he's just under 10x ROAS on day one using this exact VSL framework that I'm going to show you in this training. Another one of our clients is currently charging, his offer is $120K a year, right? It's $10K per month. And he's signing clients, okay? His CPA from his ads, again, that we're running for him is $3,500 on a $10K a month offer. Okay, another one of our clients literally just messaged us this morning. He signed a $2,500 a month client, and he has spent like $2K on ads so far. It's a new client, first $2K on ads that we spent for him, and he's currently collected $4K in total from new clients. So that he's 2X on day one, right? Because that's recurring payments. He's 2X ROAS on day one, not factoring in the recurring payments, okay? And this same VSL framework works whether you're an agency, it works whether you're a coaching business, whether you do done for you or done with you, etc., okay? Okay, so if you're in B2B right now, you typically work with people, or you want to work with people doing above, or people or companies doing above 25K a month, and right now you're struggling with either quality of sales calls, or you're struggling with volume and consistency of sales calls, or you're struggling with all three, then I highly recommend that you install this below frontal cortex funnel, okay, this below VSL funnel framework I'm going to walk you through into your acquisition process, because it's exactly what I use, and it's also what obviously, as I say, with all those clients I just referenced, it's what we've implemented into all of those clients' businesses, and it's crushing it right now. It's killing it, okay? So I highly recommend you install this exact same thing into your acquisition process. Okay, so what is the frontal cortex funnel? Well, there's a few things that it does, which is why it works so well, okay? Number one is it promises a pre-existing desire. So any market that you're in, there's a pre-existing desire within that market, meaning that that market naturally wants something. You don't need to create demand for whatever it is that they want, right? And you shouldn't create demand either, because it's so much harder. You need to look at what is the pre-existing desire within the market. Okay. And then you need to like basically get the point across of how are you different from everyone else, right? When I say everyone else, I basically mean everyone else who's promising the same desire or outcome. And pretty much every industry in this day and age, there's multiple people. Some industries are way more saturated, but every industry at least has, a good handful of people offering a similar service. So you need to be perceived as different from all of those other people, because if you're not perceived as different, the prospects won't give you the time of day, because like based on evolution, our brains are wired to pay attention to things that are new and that are novel, okay? If what you have to offer isn't new or novel, they just won't give you the time of day, period. No matter how good it is, whatever you have on the back end, if you're not perceived as new and novel, they won't give you the time of day for you to present what you actually have on the back end, no matter how good that is, right? And then also what you need to do is, now that you're perceived as different, now you need to be perceived as superior, okay? Because as the saying goes, nobody actively seeks the second best in the market, okay? So this is really important, and this is what the full frontal cortex funnel actually provides you, okay? If you implement it correctly, which is exactly what we're going to get onto here in this training, okay? So here's the framework. Let's just jump straight into it, okay? Here's the framework. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, you find value in it, please go ahead, just before we get into the framework, like the video, subscribe to the channel, massively helps out. Also comment what other trainings you would like to see, and I'll get them done, okay? So here's the framework, okay? So we start off with the client, the offer, and the guarantee straight away, instantly, okay? Literally, I'm talking within, like the first words out of your mouth in the VSL should be who the client is, what the offer is, and what the guarantee is, okay? So you want to center your offer around your most ideal client. I want to spend a little bit of time on this to explain, because this is one of the most important concepts that I see all of my clients are like, holy shit, like this is crazy, right? Basically, when you create your offer, in your market, you might have multiple people that you can help, right? Whatever industry you're in, maybe you can help somebody who's at 10K a month, you can help somebody who's at 20K a month, and you can help somebody who's at 50K a month. Okay. The offer, though, should only be centered around the person who's at 50K a month. And here's why. When you run ads, okay, or you do any kind of like outbound or whatever it is, right? You'll find that whoever you speak to, you'll get that person and you'll get everyone below them. Okay. Now, it doesn't work the other way. So if you speak to somebody at 50K a month, you'll get somebody at 50K a month. You'll also get somebody at 40K a month, and you'll also get somebody at 10K a month, for example, right? You'll get that person and everyone below them. Even if in your ads, you say this is only for somebody at 50K a month, you're still going to get somebody at 10K a month opt in. It happens all the time. However, it doesn't work in the inverse. So if you say, hey, if you're at 50K a month, XYZ, you won't get somebody opt-in at 100K a month, for example. It just doesn't work like that, right? And so when it comes to creating your offer, and really your messaging overall, but more here referencing the offer specifically, you want to make it centered around your most ideal client, because if you center it around your most ideal client, you'll get that person and everyone below them. If you center it around somebody who you're like, yeah, I mean, we can help them, right? In that example, if you can help people at 10K a month and help people at 50K a month, don't create the offer for someone who's around 10K a month, because guess what? You're going to get somebody at 10K a month and you get people below them, 5K a month, 0 a month, etc. You won't get the 50. So create it around the person who's at 50K a month, okay? Next is you want to focus only on the one most emotionally compelling detail of what you do, okay? And this should tightly align with your market's pre-existing desire. So again, every market, there's a pre-existing desire. And the best way for me to explain this is for me, right? So what our offer is on the front end is we guarantee 3 sales calls per day. This is the offer we're running with right now in the ads. 3 sales calls per day for your agency or coaching business, or you don't pay. Okay, that's my offer. Now, on the back end, we obviously run our clients' ads. We do everything done for them. We literally put 3 sales calls on our clients' calendars every single day, right? Done for them, right? But we also have a coaching aspect to what we do, which is coaching on the sales process. We help with fulfillment. We help with team structures. We help with hiring and setters and closers and building the sales team out and all that. We help with a lot more. But in my ads, go and look at my ads. You can see my ad library. I don't mention anything other than we'll get you sales calls. Pretty much is the fundamentals of the message, right? We'll get you more sales calls done for you. Because I know the pre-existing desire in my market just wants more sales calls. If you're watching this video right now, you're an agency or a coach doing, 30, 50, 100K a month, whatever. Most of the time, you don't want help on, your sales process. You just want more sales calls, right? Now you need help on the sales process. People, if we're filling our clients' calendars with a bunch of calls and they're not closing them, it's kind of useless, right? So we need to help our clients in those areas, but I don't speak to that because that's just not the pre-existing desire in the market, right? They need it, they don't want it. So we sell what they want, we deliver what they need, right? Next is, if you don't feel slightly nervous, okay, about your offer, it's not big enough, okay? And also your guarantee should entirely eliminate any potential loss or downside. So, this is referencing you should always have a guarantee, okay? Now, this is really important as well, which is, I'll work for free until we do. So like you see some offers where it's like, we'll get you to 10K a month in the next 90 days, or we'll work for free until we do. That's just not as strong as I'll refund you, right? Because you're not eliminating the downside. Okay, so always be thinking about that with your guarantees. Okay, here's an example from my actual VSL. Now, by the way, my VSL, we're currently spending about 20 grand a month on ads that are going directly to my VSL. And our current cost per book call, I believe, is between $150 and $200. Cost per MQL, which is cost per marketing qualified lead, or in other words, cost per qualified booked call. Okay, we're about 150 to 200. We're spending 20K a month on our VSL. So it works, okay? So this is from my live VSL right now, right? If you're an agency owner or a coach doing above 25K a month, I'll guarantee you 3 qualified sales calls per day starting next week, or you don't pay, and I'll shoot you a 1K check for wasting your time. So you can see literally there, I've just gone client, offer, guarantee, okay? If you're this person, my ideal client, okay, above, okay, this is something else you always want to say, like, depending on who your ideal client is, right? For me, our minimum is 25K a month, but, we signed a client a few weeks ago who's doing 300K a month, right? So, I just always say above, and I find that works pretty well, right? If you're above this certain amount. Now, yeah, here, this is obviously the offer, and then this is the guarantee, okay? Next is you want to go straight into your results, okay? So anyone can make a claim, but only a few can back it up, okay? And for every claim, there's been some research on this. I can't remember where I got it from, but there has been some research on this where it basically states that for every claim, on average, you need 3 pieces of clear evidence to back it up for every claim that you make, okay? And this is something else that's important. Your results can also act as a targeting mechanism, meaning for quality. Okay, so a lot of people always try and get better quality through the audiences that they target. So if they're running ads, they'll try and get a better quality, increase that quality by, targeting like Russell Brunson instead of like Mike Dillard, right? It's just like, that's just not gonna give you a crazy discrepancy in quality. So the quality has got to come from somewhere else. And where else does it come from? It comes from the messaging. And one of the things you can do in your messaging is your results. So going back to one of our clients that I mentioned at the start of the video, he charges 10K a month. He only works with companies who are doing above 300K a month. Or it's kind of like 2 to 300K a month is like his minimum. Literally the start of this week, he closed a new client who's doing $650K a month, right? So that gives you an idea of the caliber of client that he wants to work with, right? Because his offer is, will scale you to $1 million a month, right? And so basically with him, like we're not, it's not like we're targeting some secret audience on Facebook, right? For his ads, because again, we run their ads, right? We're not targeting some secret audience on Facebook that's producing, you know, $500K a month companies. It just doesn't work like that, right? Whereas where our targeting is coming from is from our messaging, and he has some ridiculous results. You know, he scaled some companies to like 100 million, right? One of the companies that he was the VP of marketing at, he scaled that company to 350 million, right? So his results are a massive lever that we can pull for quality, because other companies look at the results and they see themselves in that result. That's how you know, like they're the best results to mention, is when whoever your ideal client is should be able to see themselves in the result and see themselves being able to achieve the result based on, you know, the case studies that you reference. So for example, if somebody's at 500K a month right now and they want to get to, you know, 1.5 million a month, right? But all of your results are, we took this company from 100,000 to 500,000. We took this company from 50,000 to 300,000. We took this, you know, they're great results. But the company who's at 500K a month right now and wants to scale to 2 million a month, they can't see themselves in those results. So they're just not going to resonate with it, right? That's super, super key. Okay, so that's really important to remember, okay? So again, here's an example from my VSL. Basically, I go, and it's the same system that we implemented for Andrea, which booked 11 qualified sales calls in the first 24 hours of it going live. We implemented the frontal cortex funnel into Dan's agency, and he collected 79K from 7,500 in ad spend in the first 30 days. Derek currently has a $300 CPA on a 2K a month offer. Rodrigo used the frontal cortex funnel to scale to 400K a month. Hamza went from 0 to 80K a month in 180 days. James went from 45K a month to 200K a month in 90 days. In the first day of launching the frontal cortex funnel for Mark, he had to get new setters on board to handle the 6x increase in volume of leads and calls for his offer in the first day. Okay, MTR scaled from 100 to 250. Nick went from 25 to 150. Ray went from 10 to 75K a month. Okay, so there are a couple of our results, and by the way, these are like our real, obviously genuine results, because this, I literally copy pasted this out of my VSL script. Okay. So once we've hit those results, then we want to get into the first CTA. Now, the first CTA should be within 60 to 120 seconds of the video of the VSL starting, okay? And the reason why is because at the top here, I said, if you're in B2B and you want to work with companies who are doing above 25K a month, this VSL framework is specifically structured for that type of person. Honestly, you could use this for B2C as well. It would still kill it for B2C, but for B2B especially, there's just murders it, okay? So basically, remember, as I say, we've got to remember that we're speaking to busy and high-value founders and entrepreneurs, and most of these people just want to know what you have, they want to know how they can benefit from it, and they want to know what the next steps are. So you want to get your first CTA out in the first, as I say, ideally 60 seconds, because you're going to catch all the people who are, you know, just kind of like, what do you have? What have you got? Let me just do whatever's needed, right? You're also going to have some other people who need a little bit more nurturing. They need a little bit more, okay, but why does this work? How does this work? You know, how is this different from everything else? That's the mechanism, which we'll get onto here in a minute. But again, quickly, for the CTA, here's an example from my VSL, which is, so if you need more sales calls and you know that this obviously clearly works, not only does this clearly work, but if starting from next week, obviously you don't receive 3 sales calls per day on your calendar, you don't pay, and you'll receive 1K cash. Okay? If that's you, then book maybe I'd say here, if that's you, then book in a call. Okay, if that's you, then book in a call. Okay, so what basically all I've done here, it's super basic, but I've just restated like their pain, right? If you want this, okay, and then I've restated my offer, restated the guarantee, and then I've just said book in a call below. Okay, that's the first CTA. And by the way, guys, this is real. Like, if you're like, just as a side note, if you are an agency owner or a coach and you're doing above 25K a month and you want more sales calls, then click the link in the description of this video. Watch it's like a 5-6 minute video. Watch that. And book in a call with us, because again, this is our actual live offer, right? We guarantee 3 sales calls per day, and we do it done for you. You don't need to do anything. We run all your ads. We take care of everything for you, and we just fill your calendar. Done for you. And yeah, our offer is 3 sales calls a day. If we don't hit that, then you don't pay, right? And I will shoot you a 1K check for wasting your time as well, just as a quick side note. Okay, so that's the first CTA. Now, as I said, that's going to get all the people who are kind of like low-hanging fruit, right? But you're going to have other people who are going to want to know a bit more. It's like, why does this work? How does this work? Whatever. That's where the mechanism comes into play. So the mechanism, okay, you want to explain why your approach or your option is exponentially better than anything else on the market. Just think, if you're able to get your prospects to this point in their mind where they're like, I can clearly see why you are exponentially better than every other option in the market, they'll book on a call with you every single time, period. They just will. And so that's the goal of the mechanism, okay? You want to prove why you're different from every other solution they've tried in the past and every other option in the market. As I said in the start of this training, right? A lot of your prospects, especially if you're in any niches that are quite common, like the gym niche, the e-com niche, you're in the weight loss industry, you're in the coaching industry, like coaching coaches or agency on, these are such saturated niches that if your prospects can't see how you're different from every other solution, because as I say, there's such saturated industries, which means they've tried solutions in the past and it didn't work, right? They've probably tried another agency, they've tried another course, another coaching program, whatever it may be in the past, and nothing has ever worked out for them. So naturally, they're skeptical. And so you need to show why you're different from every other one of those solutions they've tried in the past, which never worked out for them. Again, if they can't see that you're different, they're gonna disregard you instantly, okay? You also wanna prove why they failed in the past, / why they didn't get results that they wanted, and why what you have going on is superior and why it's going to work. Okay, why is it going to work? What's going to be different, right? Because again, you got to think, if they've tried, for example, a common one is like Facebook ads. People have tried Facebook ads in the past, it didn't work out for them, and then they disregard Facebook ads to work. They're like, oh, Facebook ads don't work. And it's like, well, no, Facebook ads do work. It's just the way you implemented the Facebook ads, it didn't work. Or maybe they tried a specific diet, right? And it's like, oh, the keto diet doesn't work. Well, it does work, right? But maybe the way you implemented it didn't work, okay? But that distinction is really important because because naturally your prospects will be in the mindset of Facebook ads doesn't work, right? But that's just not the case. So you need to change their belief and you need to make them realize, oh, I realize now it's just the way I implemented the ads that didn't work, but actually Facebook ads do work if I do it this specific way. And so how do you get that across to the prospect? Well, you got to show them why they failed in the past. So it's like, well, you've tried Facebook ads in the past, but here's why it didn't work for you. It's not because of Facebook ads, it's because you would have done X, you would have done Y, you would have done Z, and by extension, you got the results that you wanted, which didn't work. And so instead, here's what we do. And then that's when you introduce how you go about it and why what your approach is actually works, why it's superior to everything else. Does that make sense? Okay. You should also, your mechanism should also give your prospects hope, which it kind of will do by extension of proving why you're different, number one, and why you're superior. It will then, by extension, pretty much make them hopeful. But essentially, you want to make your prospects go, oh, I understand why everything I've tried in the past hasn't worked, and I can see how what you have going on is different. This is what I need. This is the key. This is the thing I've been missing all the time, all this time. This is what I've been missing. That's what your mechanism should kind of make your prospect feel, okay? And a quote that I love from Seth Godin is basically, all marketers sell is hope. That's all we're selling is hope, okay? And that comes from your mechanism. And then obviously you want to show proof on why it works, not just that it works. Okay, and what this means is that, this isn't, I'm not speaking here to specifically like results or like case studies or whatever. It's why does it work? Like, why does it work? Like from like an actual functional standpoint, right? For example, in my VSL, my mechanism, I always talk about the fact that the reason why this frontal cortex funnel works so well is because of the way our brains are structured. And basically, we have 3 parts of our brain. There's like the croc brain, there's the midbrain, there's the frontal cortex, okay, or the neocortex, right? The neocortex is the most, is the youngest part of our brain, and it's where all of our logical, thought processes and reasoning is kind of held, right? And our croc brain is the oldest part of our brain. It's the most primitive part of our brain, and that was, that's the point at which all new information flows into your croc brain, and then it works its way up to the neocortex, right? But it has to go through the croc brain first, okay? And so the reason the frontal cortex funnel works so well is because it's the way it should be structured, if it's done correctly, is it's basically structured in a way to where it's new, like what you have is new, it's novel, and it's something that they haven't seen before. And again, the croc brain is the most primitive part of our brain. And so if you look, hundreds of thousands of years ago or whatever, the things that we were natural, the things that naturally caught our attention was like, like a tiger running at us, or, something that was like kind of impactful to our survival, right? And so the way that we structure this VSL specifically is it's kind of based on that, right? And so by extension, that hooks the prospects in because you're speaking to their croc brain, not their neocortex. And you've got to speak to the croc brain first because that's where all the information first goes into. And then as we get the information into the croc brain and it works its way up into the neocortex, that's when then we can start to be a little bit more logical about what we say and whatnot, because now they're operating out their neocortex, which is where all their logic and reasoning is done. Does that make sense? So there I didn't speak to results. Right? I'm not saying like, here's one result, here's another result, here's another result. You got to say results in the VSL, hence why we've got result sections. However, in the mechanism, you don't want to speak to, as I say, your results or whatever. You want to speak to why does it work? How does it actually work? Why does it work? There's a reason. Why is that? Right? So just to, I know this was quite like, obviously like a broad explanation. I want to give you 4 actionable process tips or whatever you want to call it to actually being able to create your mechanism. You want to answer these questions, and by extension of you answering these 4 questions, it should give you an inclination of what your mechanism should be kind of based around. So number 1, you got to ask yourself, what's the sophistication level of your market, right? Because if this is sophistication level in regards to what it is that you do. So for example, Facebook ads. If you're running, you're doing Facebook ads for agency owners, for example. Okay, agency owners' sophistication level surrounding Facebook ads is extremely high. Okay, like it's the most sophisticated you could probably get in any market. So then your mechanism cannot just be, here's why Facebook ads is best. It's got to be how you implement Facebook ads, because their sophistication to Facebook ads is so high. Does that make sense? Whereas if there was this new platform, for example, actually I might not say that word on here because it might get clipped on YouTube, but just say there was some new platform called whatever, right? X, whatever, new platform called X. If no one's on X in terms of running ads, right? No one's on this new platform. Well, then your the sophistication level of your market surrounding X, running ads on X, is not high whatsoever. So then there's no point you going specific in terms of here's how we run the ads on X, which gets the result. No. The sophistication level, your market's not that sophisticated. At that point, you've just got to show why is X as a platform better to run ads on than TikTok, than Facebook, than Google, whatever the other alternatives are. Does that make sense? Whereas on Facebook, you can't just say, here's why Facebook is better than TikTok. You've got to go into, here's the process that we implement on Facebook that gets the best results. Here's our framework, here's our funnel, here's our testing structure, whatever it may be. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you've also got to look at what sales messages is your market being exposed to, right? You got to know what one of the big things about the mechanism is you need to prove why you're different from every other solution they've tried in the past. Well, how can you know how to position yourself as different if you don't know what the other messages are that your market is hearing, right? Same thing with superior. It's like how, if you don't know what the messages are that your market is hearing, how can you position yourself as superior than all those other solutions? You can't, unless you know what your sales messages your market is being exposed to on a regular basis, right? And then we've also got, obviously, what are the specifics of your solution? This goes back to why does it work? As I say, like with me, I know why my VSL works without me needing to say any result or here's how it, that it works, right? It's like, here's a result. It's like, here's why it works. Because of the brain stuff, right? And then also, how is your solution exponentially better than your competitors? And as you start to answer these questions, you've got to spend some time on it, right? But as you start to answer these questions, you'll be able to start to form a mechanism surrounding why and how your solution is different and exponentially better or superior to every other option in the market, okay? Once you've done that, you want to then tie that mechanism to some more results, okay? So just a quick disclaimer on results. If you have a limited number of results, right, then it's better to front load them all in the beginning rather than splitting them up. So when I say the beginning, I mean this result section here, okay? So we've got 2 result sections. If you've only got if you got between 5 and 10 results, just put them all in this front section. It's better to front load. Why is it better to front load? Because more people are going to be watching at the start of the video than they are at the end of the video. So if you've got 4 results, don't put 2 results at the start and 2 results at the end. Put 4 results at the start and 0 at the end. Okay, you want to front load them. However, if you've got, ample amount of results, okay, as I say here, then in this second section of results, you want to restate more results that are different from the ones you stated in the beginning, okay? I've had a couple clients where they restate the same results as they mentioned at the beginning. Don't do that because it detracts from it. It's like you got to restate the same ones. You don't have any more. It's better to just not say any at that point, right? Which is why I say just front load them and put 0 at the back if you've got none, or if you've not got a lot, right? Okay, so when in the second section, you want to restate different results. Okay, and then finally, what you want to do is you want to hedge these results to the mechanism. This is really important. So the easiest way to do this is just to show you an example, okay? So you want to say something along the lines of, and that's exactly how our client's name went from common current state to ultimate desired state. It was directly by insert the mechanism you just explained, okay? Now, a few things on this real quick is, as I say, we're hedging the result to the mechanism, meaning the reason we got this result is because of this mechanism. That's how you want to, in the second set of results, right? Because now we've introduced the mechanism. In the first set, you can't really do it, right? Because you've not introduced the mechanism. Whereas now that you've introduced the mechanism, you can then, in the second set, start to hedge the result to the mechanism, right? And the second thing here, again, is just make sure that when I say common current state and I say ultimate desired state, this has got to be based on your highest, most ideal client, okay? So the common current state of your most ideal client. So again, if your most ideal client is people who are at 100K a month, then the common current state should be the common current state of people at 100K a month. So it's like, it went from, being stuck at 100K a month, generating only 50 sales calls a month, to, and then desired state of people who are at 100K a month, to 500K a month, generating, 200 sales calls a month, for example, whatever, right? Whatever it is. But you get the point. It's speaking to the common current state of the people at the most ideal level that you want to be working with, because they are going to resonate with it, okay? Cool. So that's the results. And then finally, we have the final CTA. This must be strong and direct because it's your last CTA. You basically want to restate offer, you want to restate your guarantee, and you want to remove all the potential downside, and you want to pitch for the call. So as an example here, this isn't from my VSL, but it would actually be a really good CTA, to be honest, which is basically, so again, if you need more sales calls that are qualified, consistent, and pre-sold before they ever jump on a call with you, then click the link below and book on a call. And again, we'll guarantee you 3 sales calls per day starting next week, or you don't pay, and I'll shoot you a 1K check for wasting your time. So if you're the slightest bit interested, click the link below and schedule a call. And by the way, we'll only present our offer to you if you're genuinely a good fit, because otherwise we'll have to refund you in full anyway. So this isn't going to be a pushy sales call. Okay, so if you're interested, click the link below, book on a call. That's it. Now, I will say, so that's the entire VSL framework. It kills it, okay? It's such good results. But again, as I kind of referenced in the mechanism section up here, this works. This VSL framework works, period. It's killing it for me right now. It's killing it for all of our clients. It works, okay? But if you implement the framework and it doesn't work, don't disregard the framework. It's just that the way you implemented it wasn't as good as it could be, okay? So it's not that whether or not this works or it doesn't. It does. It's just how well does it work, right? That's kind of like an idea that I got from Hormozi. It's not whether something works or it doesn't. Most of the time it does. Same thing with Facebook ads. It's not whether Facebook ads works or it doesn't. They work. But it's how well does it work for you in particular. So it's the same thing here. I just want to mention, it took me, I think I created this VSL like 6 times, 7 times. I wrote it, launched it, run ads to it, didn't work. Rewrote it, relaunched, ran ads to it, I did that for like 6 times. And then on the 5th time, I cracked the code. And then I also recreated another one just because I wanted to try and improve it again on the 6th time, which is the one we're currently running. And this is outperforming all the ones I've ran in the past, right? So just be willing to recreate and recreate and rewrite and rewrite and re-record until it works. Because like, as I say, it took me 6 times, And although this framework is killer, it's amazing. Yeah, if you get it on the first time, great job. But you're probably not. Just as a pre-warning, you're probably not. Even some of our clients, like our clients get it done really, really quickly. Most of the time, I would actually say it's probably the first time for our clients because I work with the clients to create it with them, right? And I rewrite and I write half the stuff for our clients anyway in the end of it. But sometimes we've had some clients where they had to do a second variation of it, even when I'm working with them to create them. You know what I mean? Like I'm rewriting it for them, and I've wrote a bunch that have killed it in the past, So just be willing to rewrite. But at the end of the day, this is the entire framework. If you want access to this exact Google Doc, comment the word VSL in the comment section. I'll send it over your way. And yeah, with that being said, if you are an agency owner or a coach, you're above 25K a month, you need more sales calls that are both quality and consistent and at a high volume, like it's scalable. Click the link in the description of this video and book in a call with us. We, as I say, we literally have, we do this for you. Like fill your calendar completely done for you. And we guarantee 3 sales calls per day or you don't pay. Simple as that. So if you're interested, click the link below. Hopefully you found this video itself useful. If you did, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff, and comment the word VSL down below if you want access to this framework, and I'll send it to you. Okay, so with that being said, I'll see you in the next training.